going into Tarshian Station.
Welcome back, everyone. It is I, the Oscar-nominated a-hole, and I'm sure many of you are probably thinking, what in the world is he doing? Now, I started an episodic thing where I was reviewing all of the Spongebob episodes in order to be able to show parents who maybe were thinking a little iffy if maybe I shouldn't let my kids watch this, to let them know what the show is about, the themes and elements within it, and what kids are being taught, and show that it's a positive thing and that Spongebob is a fantastic show for children. I kind of skipped the first episode, Brief Blower. It wasn't that big of a deal. It didn't have any dialogue in it, so I kind of skipped over it. Now, I did episodes 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I stopped at Plankton, and I didn't get any further. I had other things going on, and then I got kind of caught up with other stuff, and then pop culture went crazy, and I kind of lost it. But then the death of Stephen Hillenburg came, and it really packed a punch. And recently I've been thinking about him and playing the video games of SpongeBob and watching some more of the series, and I kind of just feel like I need to come back to this. And then I decided to maybe start doing a franchise thing where I will be looking at almost every conceptual piece of media in regards to SpongeBob and reviewing it and talking about it. Maybe doing a couple videos in regards to video games that would be really cool within this franchise, and then talking about the interesting philosophy behind SpongeBob. I know what you're thinking. Philosophy on SpongeBob. Are you ridiculous? Are you crazy? That's no such thing. There is. I've been studying it, and I've been looking into it, and there's a lot to unpack there. And right now I'm currently writing 3 scripts for it, and I can't wait to make the videos. It's going to be great. But anyways, the other thing is that not only once I finish SpongeBob, I will be going on to another franchise, the Spider-Man franchise, where I'll be reading the comic books from the beginning of Spider-Man's run all the way till about 2008, which I would say is when it started going a little downhill, unless there has been some good ones, in which case, if you know, notify me and I'll write them down on a list, and when I get to it, I'll be buying them and reviewing the comic books, as well as the story and the narrative structure, as well as the video games, the television series, and of course the films. So anyways, we're going to first be talking about, of course, to start this whole renaissance off in honor of Stephen Hillenburg and his passing, the episode Plankton, episode 6 of season 1. Now, this episode, for any of you out there who do not know or have no interest in the show whatsoever, but find it interesting to listen to a guy talk about each episode, is basically an episode in which the main antagonist of the show is revealed for its very first time, known as Plankton, an actual Plankton who is seeking his arch rival, Mr. Krabs of the Krusty Krabs, secret Krabby Patty formula in order for him to become the ruler of Bikini Bottom by having the most money, the most wealth, and the people's charm and enthusiasm. So Plankton is introduced in this episode, and they kind of give you the rundown on him really fairly quickly. But Plankton is like, I got an idea. My birthday is coming up tomorrow, he says, which I highly doubt it actually is, and he wants SpongeBob to give him a Krabby Patty. SpongeBob realizes what he's trying to do, says, no, I'll never do it. Plankton says, you will hand-deliver it to me personally. He goes back to the chum bucket, he creates a mind-controlling device, crawls inside SpongeBob's head, hooks up to his brain, and immediately starts to mind-control him. He pushes him to the Krabby Patty, or the Krusty Krab, where he grabs a Krabby Patty for him and takes it back to the chum bucket, where he's going to put it in this machine that will tell him the ingredients of the Krabby Patty. He fails to do so, and that's the end of the show, or the episode. But that isn't the end of it at all. The most interesting thing about this episode in regards to theme and element is the ending of the show. The general gist of the whole episode, I would say easily the 9 minutes out of the 11 minutes that it's showing, is mostly jokes and setting up the plot. But in regards to thematic elements, I would have to say that the ending, the last 2 minutes, are the most powerful and heart strings just ripping out of SpongeBob's body that you could ever, or that the show has thus far showed. And what happens is that slowly Plankton is levitating the Krabby Patty out over the machine. And SpongeBob has to see his fingers slowly fall away, getting closer and closer to the point that the Krabby Patty is going to fall into the machine and the ingredients are going to come alive for Plankton, to be able to have the Krabby Patty formula for himself, and therefore ruin the Krusty Krab itself. The most interesting thing is that SpongeBob has no control over his body except for two facets, and that is his mind and his mouth. And then at the very last moment, right when the Krabby Patty is able to fall into the machine, SpongeBob uses the two things that he can only control, his mind and his mouth. And he starts to talk about how much he loves Krabby Patties and his passion, I suppose you could say. His passion, the thing that he loves the most, the thing that drives him every single day, and he feels like he is failing it. He is seeing himself throwing it all away, even though he cannot control it. And in so doing, in the face of something that he cannot control, he releases out this emotion that is built up inside of him the only way he knows how, which is verbally. And it makes the villain go nuts to the point that he loses himself and throws himself at the Krabby Patty, bounces off of it, and then falls into the machine. And therefore, subsequently, SpongeBob is allowed to be freed from the mind control device. And it's a very simple story, but it's a very deep theme, and a very mature one at that. How many of us have faced something that we cannot control, but we want to be able to control it, something that we want to be able to happen? We don't want it to happen. For instance, within the Fandom Menace community, we don't like the fact that Disney owns Star Wars and the facts of the decisions that they have made. It's something that we cannot control, and the only thing that we can do, the only thing that we can use is our voice, our mouth, and our minds. That's literally all we can use. It's actually really good symbolism for the Fandom Menace. Who knew? Anyways, that's a totally off topic. But it's just fantastic. It's a deep theme that all of us have gone through or will go through or are going through. And if you're going through that, I really hate it. Believe me. As a person of the Fandom Menace in regards to Star Wars, we've been going on through it for about over 2 years now. Or at least 2 years. Anyways, that's basically the episodic review of Plankton. Now, this video is just the beginning, and I cannot wait to start making these episodic reviews. But do not think that this is the end of my channel as a pop culture channel, and then I'm just going to be doing Spongebob all the time. Spongebob will be mostly used for videos on days that there's just nothing really going on in the world of pop culture, or there's no big news. But if there is big news regarding Star Wars or the MCU or anything like that, I will be covering the video over that. Or, of course, if there's any SJW culture garbage, then I will also be covering that as well. Because on this channel, we want to make one thing clear, or at least I do. I want to make quality entertainment for future generations. And really, that's my whole mission, is to be able to find quality entertainment for future generations so that they can be raised up to be good men and good women in our society. And that's what all I really want to do, because I think that's what's most needed right now in our society. Logic and reasoning and good kids growing up to be fantastic adults. And that's something that will be covered in the Philosophy of SpongeBob video. Or videos, I should be saying, because I will be making at least 6, if not 7 of those bad boys. Maybe even more if I think of more stuff and I discover more things. So anyways, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a great day. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Like the video if you did enjoy this content. And as always, I hope you have a fantastic day. And again, this video was made in honor and in the memory of the great and late Stephen Hillenburg.
Well, I was going into Toshi's station to pick up some power converters.
You can waste time with your friends when your chores are done. Come on.
Well, I was going into Toshi's station to pick up some power converters.
Whoa!